Well, welcome back to the after lunch proceedings of this 2017 Newcastle International Supermoto here at this pristine venue right in the heart of Newcastle at Newcastle Showground. And this is just some of the sights that you can see when you get down to Newcastle. There's a wonderful Stockton Beach with a harbour backdrop. And here we are ready to go. It's all calm out there on the waters, but it's not going to be calm too much longer here as we get ready for the Race of Champions leg number 2, which is, well, it's got all the big boys in it and all some of the younger boys. And we had a great race yesterday afternoon. Troy Bayliss came out and won this one, which you'd expect from the man that's a 3-time Superbike World Champion. But we've got a great little grid of riders. And after that, we'll get back in with the rest of the proceedings with the Newcastle Open, the Newcastle Pro, then the second leg of the entertaining Postie Bike Challenge with the World Veterans, and rounding out the day over 15 laps for race number 14 is the FIM Oceania Supermoto Championship, which will be a cracker. We just saw Cage McAllister win that in dominant form by nearly 8 seconds from Michael Kirkness, with Andy McLeish in third. Adam Miller, who was right up there in the early stages, was in 4th position, but a bit of a passing manoeuvre. He just got balked a little bit by Kirkness, but then Luke Richards behind him in 5th, Ben Haddad, Jared Brook, Jared Wilson, Darryl King, Duncan Hart from New Zealand, Raul Mangasong from the Philippines, and Brent Rowe rounding out the field. We had a few non-finishers with Max Crocker, Boris Chambon, Diva Asmanyana and Tommy Taparas. But here we go in the starter's hand for the second leg of the Race of Champions. Troy Bayliss having a word with Michael Kirkness here on the grid. Here comes Cage McAllister up to the grid as well, besides Bayliss. And then beside him we've got Andy McLeish. Then we've got Hart, Jason Crump and Co. They're in the starter's hands for this 5-lapper, pardon me. Off a racing again, and I tell you what, Kirkness gets a good line from the outside, closely followed by Bayliss with Jared Brook there in 3rd. Cage McAllister in 4th as they clear out here. Crumpy in 6th position at the moment as they motor their way through off the dirt section onto the bitumen proper, which has got a good little transition, a bit of gravel there, so they're not straight onto the bitumen. They managed to clean their tyres ever so slightly. But the leading was, Mike Kirkness from Troy Bayliss in 2nd position. Jared Brook was up there in 3rd, but I reckon well, yep, he is, and McAllister's about ready to make a move on him as they come round over half lap completed at this 5-lap dash. McAllister will be building a move on. I'll tell you what, Troy Bayliss put a move on Michael Kirkness then, shoved it right up the inside of him as they backed it in under brakes. So Bayliss leads at the first lap from Kirkness, from McAllister. And then behind them we've got Andy McLeish as well, as trying to keep him honest, and Crumpy in there as well.
Yeah, you've talked about it so many times, Mark, of course, that you know, any race, once they start the race, it's almost like a red mist that takes over, and they want to get to the front, and we saw a little bit of aggressive riding there, but Bayliss has got the front at the moment, but the American won't be far away, and after the setbacks of yesterday and the emphatic performance that he turned on in the Oceania race just before lunch, he'll want to you know, make it a clean sweep of today's activities at least, but he's got a 3-time world champion in his way at the moment. Here it is with Bayliss up on the inside of Kirkness, who looks and thinks, well, where'd that come from?
Oh, big, gets the power down, back brakes away on him, drags a foot peak through the turn as well. McAllister managed to get through Kirkness here in that previous lap. Now Troy Bayliss, he's got a race on his hands. The young kid, the 22-year-old California, will not want the older stager, even if he has got a few world titles to his belt. He doesn't want to be upstage. He's here to win races. That's what he's been brought out here for. As they come down to complete lap number 2 of this 5-lap journey, Bayliss gets the power down and puts it out to the stops as he tries to get traction through this very slick speedway section. McAllister, you'd think, would be ready to pounce at any tick of the clock, but we're back on the bitumen.
Back on the bitumen, where we know Bayliss is liking it certainly far more than the dirt sections of the track. But yeah, Bayliss has dished out a aggressive moves, still, clean moves, but he's shown his determination to get to the lead, and I wonder whether if McAllister gets hold of him here, he might return the favour.
I'm sure he will, mate, as he's done countless times before, as we saw in that previous race when we thought he was gone for all money. He's come back and won the race with a big passing move on Paul Castley on the final lap. They come up to complete lap number 3 back onto the dirt section. And McAllister's ready to make the move. He's back on home turf, so to speak, now, and he's on the dirt. But he's not used to this pretty aggressive motocross-style motard track they got here. But Bayliss into the 3rd lap. He's still there at the moment. 2 laps to go. Can he hold? Well, he actually managed to break out a little bit.
He has extended the lead somewhat on that previous lap, and mainly on the dirt section, which was quite strange. Although in saying that, it's closed right up now as they head off the main arena and out to the asphalt.
He's working that KTM something severely, is Troy Bayliss. You can see the back end and the front is fighting for traction through the speedway left-hander. Oh, Jason Trump's an expiry again. He's had a little whoopsie again. He'll be looking forward to a frosty treat at the end of the day by the sound of it. But now I've got 1.5 laps to go, less than 1.5 laps to go. McAllister's there, he's ready, he's stalking, he's looking at the elder statesman of racing.
Whoa!
Oh, big move there, but Bayliss has got the inside line. Oh, Bayliss is down, he just has too much traction at the front rail, and McAllister's
got a problem.
He stalled the bike trying to avoid Bayliss, so these two aren't out of it by any stretch, but that would have handed the lead to Kirkness by the look of it. Oh, Bayliss hasn't got it started. He'll be absolutely... Oh, he has got it started. McAllister's got his started.
Running, yeah.
Oh, wow. What drama there with just a lap to go as we watch a replay of it. Look at this move here. McAllister puts a big one on him going into the hairpin. And Bayliss leaves just a little bit of room, but he says, no way, Jose. This is my bit. He's got the inside line. He's done a few chicanes in his time. Just comes through here, just tries to turn it back a bit tight. You see the front end just tuck. I reckon he's dragged the foot peg. He's lifted the rear off the ground, to tell you the truth, then, because the front didn't tuck at all. And in the mayhem trying to avoid it, McAllister stalled the bike trying to bump start it.
Yeah.
So on the last lap, we see that Kirkness is in the lead, 3.87. The rubber man, he'll be an unexpected win, but hey, to finish first, it's the old saying. And now, last lap, wow, what a drama-packed incident that was. So Kirkness should take the win now as he gets onto the dirt for the last time. And then in second position, we've got Luke Richards. Then it's Aaron Watson. Well, that'll be good for Watson Demolition. If he can stay. Oh, no, that's scrolling through the rest of the leaderboards at the moment. Bayliss remounted in 11th position. So it's Jared Brook in second.
And there's the checkered flag there for Michael Kirkness and Jared Brook. So that's his best effort of the weekend, getting up to second place in that race. And
McAllister recovering for third by the look of that, from body crossing the line.
He did get the bike fired up a bit quicker than Troy Bayliss picked up his bike and got it going again.
Troy Bayliss is probably trying to go, oh, I've got to pick this thing up now. I've just done 5 laps. I'm completely shagged. But great effort all round and by Kirkness. You've got to stay upright to finish the races, and it just shows you how much these guys are putting in. It's not as if they're going out there and just rolling around and seeing what happens. But Kirkness from Brook, McAllister in third, then Hart in fourth, the Kiwi there. Duncan Hart, the elder statesman of the Kiwi team. Bayliss back there in 11th. Unfortunately for him, for his chance at grabbing a bit of silverware at the end of the day. I'd say that has been negated somewhat as we look at a replay. And Bayliss got the whole shot, but Kirkness got the better one. And then McAllister and Jared Brook, a great move from him as well. Oh, but that move there from those two, what a move. That was a committed dirt track move, and Bayliss just there. And then Kirkness hung on to take the win. And I tell you what, Jared Brook nearly lost the front going through that burn then. He did. You could see him stumbling a bit, but McAllister third, just holding off Hart in fourth position.
Well, a very short highlight package because all the drama was contained in a very short little burst as we move now straight into the Newcastle City Open. Now this is their third race. This is it for them, so it's all on the line, and we've had a win. I think this is where we had well, we've had two different winners like we have in most of the classes. We've had John Bartley winning the second round, and Joel Tuckett. So they're the two front runners at the moment. Simon Boyd right in the mix as well. So all to race for in this third and final race. Toby Tyson's the one who set the pace.
And Tuckett in second position, and our race winner in a fourth position from the previous leg. And they all managed to get through that very tricky opening lap section of that dirt little chicane, I suppose you'd call it. So try and get off and get line without getting too concertina going into the bitumen section. So what can be done now? I've got a 10 lapper of this one, I think. We need to get a chance to catch our breath between those ones. But at the moment, still see that our man, is it going to be a new leader for? We set up a bit of a lead at the moment. But we'll see how long he can hang on for. So this is 3 different leaders in 3 different races, which is good. Oh, no, he's back there again. Pardon me, he's got in front of Tyson again. So Tuckett there in the lead, and well, he's managed to get out by about 3 or 4 bike lengths already.
Okay, well,
possibly
that's,
more.
you know, he's had a win and a third so far, so he will have the points lead going into this race, and I'd imagine that if my calculations are right, well, winning this race obviously would give him the overall victory, but a long way to go yet. The likes of Simon Boyd and John Bartley and Toby Tyson have been very competitive each and every time they've gone out, and they're not all that far away from him in the track, and as we've seen many, many times, one mistake can completely change the complex of the race.
So at the moment we've got Tuckett from Tyson with Boyd, and then Bartley, our winner of race 2, in 4th position.
They're the big 4, aren't they?
Well.
They're the big 4. Out in front at the moment, and we expected that, well, they've probably gone into this race in the top 4 positions overall, and they've maintained that form, but plenty of laps to go to perhaps change the order as Tyson comes over the big jump there, as a move comes from, was that Boyd, was it, or Bartley? Might have been, yeah, Simon Boyd, I think it was. So over the finishing line now, Boyd and Bartley. That's the battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th. So our race leader's got a little bit of a gap on him at the moment, as we see that battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th coming off the speedway corner there and out onto the asphalt. And the lead's probably 50, 60 metres. So that's a good buffer that the race leader Tuckett has set up.
And while these 2 or 4, as a matter of fact, start swapping positions and slowing each other up, it's allowing Tuckett even more at an advantage as they come out through that fast right-hander up to these, just dab the brakes and get back on it through the chicane. Try and miss the curb on the way through, which they all seem to be doing pretty well. In 3rd position, Simon Boyd at the moment in front of our man Tribbett there, in position number Bartley there on 166 in 4th position. Well, he's just about to move into 3rd position, is he? Not quite. He gets his nose shut off there going back into the tight dirt sections that finishes this lap. So they'll have 7 laps to go at the end of this one.
All right, Tyson's made good starts, which has always given him the best opportunity, and although he's in 2nd place at the moment, he's doing a good job to hold off the riders immediately behind him. We've got the 20 there of
Rick Olsen.
Rick Olsen, I think it is. Showing up as a different name, so maybe the transponder's been put across. It's come up as Joel Muddle on the
there
screen.
is 2 number 20s we noticed yesterday, Pete, so they're just out to confuse us.
Which doesn't take much sometimes.
Not up to 3 days of it.
But this is a great battle. 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. We don't know where the race leader is. He's out there somewhere doing it very comfortably. But
I hope we haven't put the cameraman's curse on them, because as soon as we take the camera off them, normally something happens at the front. Back to the front to see our leader, bike number 4, well in control at the moment, Joel Tuckett. He's got that Honda working pretty well at the moment. Coming down over, we've got 6 laps to go.
And that's a pretty commanding lead, isn't it? Bartley, I think it was,
yep,
had some problems there, stalled it. So he's dropped back now to 5th at best, probably even 6th or 7th place by the time he got going and got over the finishing jump there.
So our race leader, Joel Tucker, will be 2 wins and a 3rd or 4th, or was it in the second leg, I think it was?
Yeah, I think he had a 3rd in the other leg, and Bartley's gone in with a win and a 4th place. So that's really dented that mishap where Bartley stalled there. That's put a big dent in his hopes.
Well, I reckon it's Toby Tyson and or our man in 3rd position,
Simon Boyd.
Simon Boyd is on track to be 2nd overall in this one at the moment.
But been good competition in this one between a handful of riders, really. But after winning the first race yesterday, Tucker has reproduced that form, really, because he got to the lead pretty early in this race and set up, just ran away and hid from them, really.
Well, he's probably seeing what he did yesterday, witnessing what he is doing now. I think in that opening race this morning, he did what he had to do to consolidate, make sure he finished, and then come out and go, okay, I've got that one under the belt. Now's the time to go for the win and make sure that I take out this Newcastle Pro Open title for 2017 here at Newcastle Showground.
Yeah, maybe not the best of starts in the second one. I don't recall what happened, but we called him actually coming through the field a bit. So obviously he wasn't didn't make as good a start as he would hope to. And but he did make his way through the other field and get up to 3rd place with a pretty determined ride in the previous leg. But it's still Tyson and Boyd and Muddle there at the moment. And a fair gap back to Bartley in what will be 5th place. And he's got a bit of close company behind him now, but Bartley not looking like he's able to get back on that chase for 2nd, 3rd and 4th place.
Unfortunately, he's lost that momentum by that stall job.
Yep.
But I think it was about an 8-second lead that he had over him at the moment when Tucker come across the line that previous lap over 2nd place. But, there's Bartley there. He's back in about 7th or 8th or 5th position at the moment. He's a long way off the pace. Now the lead out to 6 seconds from Toby Tyson with Boyd in 3rd position. Get great shots here from the drones that are circulating the air above Newcastle Showground.
And it looks like Bartley has made up a bit of ground there and a lot closer to Simon Boyd on that previous shot.
Right, number 7 now. Jefferson got it. I think it is. He was coming up on the leaderboard there, but I think he's one of the lap. Yeah, he's getting out of the way of the lads so they can get past and continue their racing.
Been good from the lap riders so far today that we've seen. The blue flags officials doing a good job getting those blue flags out, and the riders about to be lapped doing the right thing and getting out of the way, not interrupting the momentum of the riders coming through.
So we've got less than 3 laps to go, and now this young Joel Tucker, well, he's not that young, but he's certainly riding like a youngster at the moment to be so far in front of the rest of the field, and done enough by our calculations without taking the shoes and socks off, but to think that he's scored enough points to take out this Newcastle Pro Open title.
Okay, still Muddle there in 4th ahead of Bartley, then the other of the Boyds, which is he's coming in 6th place at the moment.
I think transponders might be having a little bit of a play up at the moment with some of the lap times they've been given. But we'll still see that our winner, leader Tucker, got less than 2, well, it'll be coming back to less than 2 laps to go at the end of this circuit. So Tuckett's lead now out to, well, he's backed it off very considerably, only out to 6 seconds now. It stayed really much the same. He has a little look around behind him at the moment to see where the rest of them were.
I guess there's some points of the track where you do get a bit of an idea without interrupting your own momentum, to have a little bit of a look and see where the nearest rivals are, and he'd know who the ones that he had to beat if he was going to come out on points in this in the class overall. So he's probably had a look somewhere around the dirt, around the asphalt section, and seen. That's
where you get a really good view. And also just going over as you start to turn left off the start-finish line, you can have a quick glance behind you there to see if there's anyone following. But mate, he's got daylight second. He's just got to relax himself, keep the concentration going, and make sure he doesn't think about winning it too much. He's just got to let him and the bike flow into it and let nature take its course as he expects. So the last lap Lord coming up for him. And there's 10 lap. So, again, getting through the back markers A-OK. Last lap board comes out for him as he just gets past bike number 61. That was Jake Foley.
Yes, there's still Tyson in second ahead of Simon Boyd, John Bartley, Joel Muddle and Mitch Boyd. And Brad Tribbett is the next one through. He's back in 7th place.
Well, this is the battle for race positions, as we've got second and third position at the moment. It's Boyd out there and also Toby Tyson. He looked like he was close enough then, but I don't know if he's going to have to take a real big determined effort to try and get through this. As it we go back to our race leader, number 4, Joel Tucker, in fine form. There's second and third position at the moment, so it's still Tyson just holding off Simon Boyd on bike 911.
Boyd just had a look behind him to see how far back his nearest rival was. That's still Bartley, I think, there. But
here comes our race winner and should be round winner with Joel Tucker on bike number 4, coming out to negotiate the final turn. Up the burn, nice and smooth. Relaxes across the line, puts the hand up in that celebration, and great win for Joel Tucker.
Great effort there to win 2 of the rounds, be placed in the other one. And across the line there, we need a final wrap to see whether Tyson or Boyd's dropped a spot. Bartley got him.
That's what.
Oh, there's one down there. Who's a couple down. They're obviously a bit further back in the pack than 19. And the 7 of Jefferson Godden also running down on the job there, but no damage done by the look of it, both up and running. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see that final result, because I didn't see bike number 744 coming through. I thought we might have just missed him, but it looks like he might have gone missing in action in that last lap.
No, he's come up as second, and Bartley got Boyd on the including stages, and that might have dented Boyd's hopes for second overall, because I don't think there'll be much between he and Toby Tyson. But we'll leave that up to the officials to collate those points. We're pretty sure, though, that the overall winner is the rider who won round 1, and it's just won round 3. That is Joel Tuckett. And I think in just a few moments we might be able to cross down to Tess or Danny to have a chat with someone who's going to be pretty happy after his effort here this weekend.
Won that race by some 8 seconds in the end from Tyson, with Bartley, Boyd, Joel Muddle in 5th. Then it was Mitch Boyd, brother, in 6th position. And we go down to Danny with our race winner down in Parc Ferme.
Joel, congratulations, mate. A good start, got you up front early, and you just rode away with it.
Yeah, thanks, mate. It was a bit different to enduro riding and trail riding, just where I come from. But it's a great race. Thanks to all the organisers. This is the best track I've ever ridden. It's really good credit to them.
How did you find the tar, being an enduro rider? You're out in the bush a lot, on the dirt. Did you find the tar okay?
Yeah, well, it wasn't too bad. I've practiced a little bit at the Port Macquarie Club track, which has really helped me out there. But yeah, it's a good tar section, pretty good quality, and yeah, had a ball.
All right, mate. Congratulations. There you go.
Well, again, another big wrap for the track from someone else.
And we have a look at the highlights package of that previous race. As Tuckett is, well, phase in the glory of that win, where he got from the start very early, got the lead, and that was it. And everybody else had their minor little battles throughout the field. As we see now that bike number 744, Toby Tyson, he was trying his hardest to stay in front, but Tuckett there, as well as Bartley is trying their darndest to bridge the gap. But it was a long way away, was Tuckett in the lead. And by the look on his face, he certainly wasn't taking things easy there as he aimed to take win number 2 from 3 different starts.
Yeah, we've talked about guys from road racing background and dirt track background and motocross background, and he reminds us that he's from an enduro background, so somewhat different, and it's really brought everyone together from all disciplines. Great win, 2 out of 3 of the race wins and overall victory, so well done to Joel Tuckett.
I think Joel might be thinking of trying some dirt track or road race. Oh, that was a big effort as they come together.
Fairly low speed, thankfully, at that stage, but yeah, both of them able to jump up and grab their bike. And
yeah, Gabrielle Lane and also bike number 7, that was Jefferson Godden.
Well, great scenes, isn't it? A lot of the competitors have brought family out with them today, and to watch them ride and celebrate Father's Day, no doubt. And yeah, the crowd, to each and every one of you, certainly hope that you've enjoyed yourself and yeah, felt that it's worthwhile. And
everybody watching on the live streaming, also on the Newcastle Supermoto Facebook page.
And we hope that if you are watching it on the live feed, that next year you might decide to come out to Newcastle and see it live, hopefully back down on the Harbour Foreshore next year. And, well, I don't know about you. You and I have both been to a lot of different racetracks across different disciplines, but it'd go a long way, I think, to find a better setting for a motorcycle race than around the harbour of Newcastle. Very much. Very pristine and picture perfect is that harbour backdrop. And it would have to be one of the most colourful pieces of racetrack anywhere in the world that I've been to. I suppose you always got Phillip Island with the backdrop of the water, but that's still a little ways away compared to what was at Newcastle. If you did a bit of an exit stage right, you had a chance of having a decent swim. But anyway, we're back here now for the Newcastle Pro, and it is Newcastle Showground, just a little bit away from the water, but not too far in this magnificent venue here in Newcastle, at the mouth of the Hunter River, at the mouth of the Hunter Valley in beautiful New South Wales. And thanks to Destination New South Wales, Newcastle City Council, pardon me, the New South Wales Government, Watson Demolition and Earthworks, and also our big major sponsors into the second leg of this third leg of this open category at the moment, the Pro. And who is it? It's Kirkness. Oh, those two are going to have a bit of a play, because I spoke to Adam Miller after that race of the Oceania, and I said, what happened? I said, did I guess it right? He went, yep, you did. Kirkness put a bit of a move on him, and he said, oh, that was a bit firm in my book, so okay.
I think there might be a bit of a get square coming up in one of the 2 remaining races that they're up against, and this has already started now to see who is going to be it. And in the lead, we've got, is that Tommy Taparis in the lead? It sure is, the young 17-year-old from Goulburn. Wow, good to see him up there. Yep, it is. And beside it, Adam Miller. And then it is Kirkness besides. And Tommy said he wanted to win the race today. And me and his old man looked at him just to say, come on, mate, be serious. And he said, I am being serious.
This is the class, of course, where Adam Miller had the DNF yesterday, so he's not going to be in the overall chase for outright honours. But geez, he can be more than a spoiler here, can't he? With the likes of, well, I guess Kirkness and McLeish are going to be the 2 battling it out. Luke Richards looked like he had problems there.
Oh, was that was Kirkness and McLeish side by side through the speedway trap. It was McLeish on the outside. That was a big move from the Proserpine local. And see if Tom Taparis, protege of the defending Australian Superbike champion Troy Herfoss, who's taking him under his wing down there in Goulburn. I think Troy Bayliss has done a bit of taking under him, because Tom races in the Cube Racing setup on the Ninja 300s and the Ninja 300 last year, Supersport this year, and he's sitting 3rd in the Australian Championship. Well done to Tom, but right behind him he's got Adam Miller. He's keen, he's dispatched Kirkness and
McLeish there.
And I reckon when they looked at each other going through the speedway turn, I think Miller might have told him a good place to go. I think. Oh, that's been a big one from
Taparis has gone down. He's brought Miller with him. Yep.
Oh,
so they're back to third and fourth as Max Whale now looms up in fifth. So the complete complexion change there. There's now McLeish leading from Kirkness. The two that had the tumble, Miller up quickest and right on the tail of Kirkness. Keep your eye on them.
Keep the cameras on Miller and Kirkness, because Miller is determined to get past him. He's already been shunted in the weeds once by Kirkness in an early race. Then he goes up the inside. Easy peasy. That was straight underneath him. He gives him a bit of a fist bump on the way out as well.
But as I just said, this is a class where Miller's not in contention for overall honours. Kirkness would be, and I think he may well have taken the easy way there, thinking, oh, I haven't got a battle with Miller. I haven't got to beat him on points.
And here we have a replay of our Tom Taparis' little whoopsie, where he's come off the jump okay there, but he's just come off this the wrong way. Kicked it in as he's tipped it. He's hit the rut going through there. Bang. That's it. Which has balked Kirkness, who's had to bring it down, but it's allowed he's balked Miller, which allowed Kirkness and McLeish to get through into first and second respectively.
So there it is, Andy McLeish, all the way down from North Queensland. Supermoto champion, a very good dirt track rider in his own right as well. But these days certainly more proficient on the Supermoto tracks.
Tell you what, he's just got a little buffer, and well, you say that and he closes up on the brakes, but the husky of McLeish up against the KTM of Adam Miller at the moment.
Yeah, the gaps we get at the end of the lap, that can be a little bit deceptive, because it obviously the gap changes at different points around the track as Taparis there back up and on the move. And
oh, good move there. Very determined. So McLeish from Miller, Kirkness, then it's Maxi Whale in fourth, Wilson, Boyd and Forsyth in the top seven. And a few non-starters there, as you can see, the attrition rate starting to come to play.
Miller took the shortcut around that jump there and up to the jump and made up a lot of ground on McLeish. He was out much wider in the run to that jump at the finishing line.
And I'll tell you what, Miller's going to put another move on him very shortly to move into the lead. He's not going to let Andy get away with it. We've got 5.5 laps to go in this 10-lap journey for the Newcastle Pro. Now we're going to have 3 different winners in 3 different races.
We might. You wonder too whether the riders have had a look at the points before they go out for the third round. They'll know what they've got to do. They know who they've got to beat. And if they saw that Miller got no points from the first round yesterday, well, he's not a threat to them overall, is he?
Not at all, but he's just a threat to their prospects if he gets a bit too close quarter proximity. And McLeish doesn't have to have a look, he'll hear behind him.
You can't get much closer than they are on the track at the moment. So we've got 2 visitors who have come a long way to be at Newcastle this weekend.
Bang.
Again, Miller cuts it tight, really nails it this time, and Miller's in front, but he's left a bit of a gap, is he? No, he's not. McLeish close enough. This should be his strength, although he was one rider who said it was far slipperier than what he's used to on a dirt track, that particular section of the showground arena.
And now that Miller's got in the lead, I think that's it. McLeish has got to do something. Well, he closes right up, but he's going to lose the momentum on the exit of that hairpin. That's the trouble when you try and make up too much room under brakes, that you negate your charge on the exit because you're just trying to pull it up that hard. Whereas Miller's just getting into that groove at the moment. He's got, the groove. He found a groove there that kicked the rear end of the bike out from underneath him at the moment, as he's gone on these Pirelli wet weather tyres that he alluded to that he was using this afternoon for extra grip. But as they come down to complete lap number 6 of this 10-lap journey, Miller is now just slowly starting to stretch that elastic band. It's going to break soon, and McLeish won't have any reply to try and come back and get onto the ducktail of the motorcycle that Miller's on at the moment. But
McLeish comfortably in second. I think Kirkness comfortably in third. they're probably where they need to be. They know they're not going to improve. They don't have to win this race, and without having all the points in front of us, I think these two Aussies are probably going to be pretty close to the pointy end of the table overall. Here's the big move, and he sort of sampled it last time around. Really took the shortcut on the inside line going up to that big jump. Next time he absolutely nailed it, and even though he did get a little bit wide when they got back down on the speedway track, McLeish wasn't close enough to take advantage of it. So there he is, Adam Miller from the Hartwell Club in Victoria, now in cruise mode as McLeish is, you would think, content to come home in second place, a fair way ahead of Michael Kirkness on the track. The last lap time that Miller's done showed why he set up a bit of a lead there compared to McLeish, and they're down now with 3 laps to go.
Yeah, and it's going to be, well, McLeish in second, as you've said, Pete, but Miller now is just saving some pride after that whoopsie from yesterday.
Yep.
Which we could almost call it an unforced error as well that he went into, because he had a pretty, well, not a substantial lead, but he was looking pretty comfortable. But just as racers do, they've got to go from hard from the start to the finish and get concentration up there. And unfortunately, he thought he had it, that it just kicked the rear end a bit out of it. But the way that did it just sent him on a trajectory with the gutter, which unfortunately tipped him over the bars, as we see on screen on bike 387. Mike Kirkness there.
He's very comfortable. He's a long way behind McLeish, but he's got a long gap behind him back to Max Whale. And Max Whale, like Jared Brook, they've both improved as the weekend's gone on, so getting more and more used to this Supermoto racing. We keep the cameras on Kirkness there. It's still Kirkness in third, Max Whale. Jared Wilson been very consistent all weekend. Matthew Boyd, Max Croker, Ashley Forsyth. That was the top 8. But we're now down to into the second last lap. It's going to be another good win, you would think, for Miller. His fastest race time certainly showing why he's out in front of this pack at the moment. But McLeish there on to the back of the track. It's really just a leisurely Sunday afternoon ride at the moment for the top 3, really. They've got no company on the track, but out in front. He's been good all weekend. Had the mishap yesterday. We referred to it. He's probably sick of hearing it when he's listening to this replay later on. But he's scored on his last lap now to score in another very emphatic win.
He's riding a lot of rear breakers out of Miller when he comes out of that corner, trying to keep the rear in shape. But I tell you what, if no one's heard about Adam Miller, well, a lot of people hadn't heard about Adam Miller if they hadn't been from Victoria before this event. But I tell you what, Adam Miller is now one of the leading contenders for Australian Supermoto glory. He's right up there, and he's proven that he doesn't take a backward step whatsoever. So he's certainly, and it's enduro, motocross, he's the same. The guys from Victoria say, mate, if you're sharing a track with this bloke, you know you're having a race. And a bit of showboating going on there for the Victorian. At least he's a bit more of a success with number 46 this weekend than a more famous number 46. He's managed to stay on the bike when he's on the dirt track, which, well, you've got to have a dig when you can have a dig, can't you? As he puts his hand in the air, punches the air, the hands off the handlebar over the tabletop. Coming up to the last little bit of a berm, but he doesn't use the berm. He's got a nice little rut there that he just whips it around and straight over the top to take the checkered flag. So Adam Miller takes the win in the Newcastle Pro, with Andy McLeish coming through for second, is he? He takes the high road into second position. Bit of a knack-knack there. Thumbs up for Adam Miller, and I'm sure he'll be down on the ground very shortly with Tess and or Danny. As in third position, Mike Kirkness hung on. Then Max Whale with his best result in his first senior meeting at a Supermoto event, which is good for the Queenslander. As, well, he went over there into America as a 15-year-old, was allowed to race a 450 and blitz the seniors over there. So he's got a certain amount of talent at the moment, as our young guy from over there, Max Whale from Queensland.
And good to see those sort of riders really showing improvement over the course of the weekend. Shows they're adapting to the track, and not only them, but maybe changing the setup on the bike, and their results for quite a few of them, as I said, have certainly improved over the weekend.
And we get some highlights of this race, and straight out of the gate there was Miller, and then beside him they were trying hard was Taparis, a young 17-year-old. Looked like he had a nice little bit of lead there. He was starting to set up a bit of ascendancy, but as he come off the back into the jumps through the tabletop and through the right-hander, he just collected a rut and just tucked the front, which is taking Miller out of the game there, but he remounted pretty quickly. But that was enough for Kirkness and McLeish to get away, as Miller and McLeish started having a bit of a fight as well as he recovered from that whoopsie. But just showing the quality of this Victorian on bike number 46 to manage to get back into the lead. And here we go with another win for the lads. So well done to Adam Miller from Victoria. 2 wins and a DNF in the Newcastle Pro Championship. And in second position, it was Andy McLeish, with third, Mick Kirkness from Cessnock. So 3 different states fill the podium for first, second and third in this third lad. So we'll go down now to Tess and have a word with her winners.
Adam, congratulations. What a stellar race. Now, you took a tumble when Gage McAllister fell down early on. How did you recover?
Just put the head down, arse up, and just go for it. That's all you can do in these situations. I made it back to 4th, which salvaged some good points. So championship's not over yet. You did so well. A lot of competition with you and Andy McLeish there at the end. Yeah. Andy's a tough competitor. What can I say? You know, he's got the flu. He's battling it tough. I don't know how he's doing it. It's hard enough being fit. Well, you did very well out there. Great weekend for you. Yeah, so far it's been good. Hopefully we can keep it going for one more. That's it. Nice work. Thanks very much, Adam. Thank you.
Well done. Thanks, Tess. And our winner there, Adam Miller. And as our boys come out on the Postie Bike Grand Prix, they don't get it at Grand Prix. Postie Bike Challenge, the Postie Bike Grand Prix up in Cessnock in November. I've been patronised in that event too many times. You've got to get up there and have a look at that, as these guys have a bit of fun out there, and you know, a bit of frivolity never hurt anybody. We saw Paul Caslick break through for the win the first time, but this time I think we've got a bit of a different story. I think that's one of the Thackeray's up there. There's John Webber as well, with Paul Caslick there in second position, trying to get down underneath the paint. And Caslick got bike number 21. I think that's a bit of homage to one of his mates, Mr. Troy Bayliss, as a matter of fact, that he put the 21 on there. As he's up the inside goes Casso. That'll be the last they see of him. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's got 2 wheels, he's going to have a bit of a dip with it, isn't he? That's for sure, Pete.
Well, it's funny, in this particular class, he hasn't made the starts in either race. Young Hayden Bond got the jump on him in the first race, and again in this one, Casso hasn't been the best to begin, but he certainly got it fired up and has very quickly got to the lead. I think it was Matthew Pickering he got by there, but Casso's gone really wide, and Pickering almost got up to him. Hayden Bond again in third place, and then we've got the 73 of Thackeray.
But I've just had a very special guest pop his head in to have a look at the super screen, but I thought, well, we may as well have a bit of a chat with one of the guys that's been right behind this Newcastle International Supermoto event, well, since a year or two before the actual became a reality. Warren Watson from Watson's Demolition and Earthworks, mate. Congratulations first up to you, your brother Aaron and Graham Boyd. You're the trio of the Holy Trinity, I suppose you could call it, that have got this thing together. You should be mighty proud of yourself, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Braxy. We had a bit of an idea, and the sport is growing, and it's got a lot of attention from a lot of people, and we went to Boydie, and between us we come up with something that we hope everyone enjoys, and hopefully we can carry it on.
Now, the question's got to be asked, and it's been asked to me a couple of times this weekend. We had the 2 years at that magnificent venue, and you probably cast a rod for your own back in a way, because you had such a good venue that another competition has seen it, and we're not there this year because of what they're doing at the track with the V8s. Can't blame that. Newcastle is one of the most naturally beautiful places in the world, but now after the success of this at the showground at a purpose-built facility, you've got to be asking yourself the question, haven't you?
Yeah, mate, look, Newcastle, I think, has got a lot to offer, you know, for motorsport. I mean, look at the people we've got in the Hunter Valley and stuff like that. It's basically we're at the forefront of a lot of people from around this area. It's turned out better than we expected, I guess. There's a lot more people that walk through traffic at the show at the foreshore, obviously. But mate, we're happy with it. It's a beautiful day. Hopefully everyone is getting a bit of a look at the whole track, which is good. Boydie's done a good job putting it on again, and we'll see what happens next year. Something new, maybe.
You never know, mate. We'll be waiting with bated breath. But no, congratulations, and I mean that sincerely. Probably on behalf of everybody that's here, from the officials all the way through to the competitors and all the way through the spectators. Put on a great event over the last 3 years, and especially when we considered what was the future of it, and you've proven to put this on. Hats off to Will and Bowl. Well done, mate. I'm sure you're very proud of yourselves. Yeah, thanks, mate. And it's not an easy event to organise, and Boydie works, you know, tirelessly the whole year through, and it's you know, it's hard to cater for every single person, but we try to do that, and hopefully everyone enjoys it and keep the support there. No worries, mate. I'm sure you'll be looking for a nice, cool, frosty brown lemonade this afternoon, which I'll be joining with you. But thanks for popping along, Warren Watson from Watson's Demolition and Earthworks. And like I said, one of the holy trinity behind this thing, besides Graham Boyd being the front man, it's Warren Watson, Aaron Watson, the two brothers that have built up a very successful business here in the Hunter Valley. And also thanks to Biogenetics, who they've got on board for the year. And as I was saying this morning, Warren, I've got to go and have a look, because it's also got anti-aging and nutrition, so it might be right up my alley. Thanks very much for dropping along, and back to Pete Baker as we get down to the closing stages of this Postie Bike Challenge race, with Paul Cassick still in control for Matthew Pickering in second position, and Hayden Boyd in the third.
Hayden Bond right on the back wheel there of Matthew Pickering. That's where the focus is. The battle for second and third in this race. Just a few bike lengths between them there. Yeah, the Watson boys certainly justifiably happy and proud of the track they've built this weekend.
I thought there was a bit of kicking going on here, actually, with bike number 23, Hayden Bond, on his mate's leathers. Jamie Stover's come to the party. You could actually say that Jamie Stover's racing in spirit here, as the way he's got those old Honda leathers. Oh! And he's looped it. But that's a good thing about Postie bikes. They haven't got enough power when you let go of the rear end that they're going to high side you over the bars.
I caught up with Hayden after the first race, and he said, we lost a wheel this weekend, referring, of course, to his usual exploits on Speedway sidecars. But Dad Grant's here with him as well this weekend, and it's always good catching up with family who put so much into their racing careers. Here it is again. He probably doesn't want to see that, but did well to hang on, didn't he?
Yeah, just keep running down, power out, so to speak. And there's the last lap board for our field of the Postie Bike Challenge here at the Newcastle, which makes part of the Newcastle International Supermoto event for 2017. Is Catholic getting a bit of the vibrations through the hands, like the old jackhammer trick? Oh, look at the way they bounce out of that spoon drain. Just proving how much suspension these things haven't got. But I think it's great that they've actually had the side and the lateral thinking to think, hang on, why don't we have a bit of fun with this and put on a Postie Bike Challenge, as well as when the big boys come out to play. And Paul Cassick, one of the big boys that likes playing in anything. As long as he's playing in the dirt, he's a happy chappy, is Paul Cassick. One of the most likeable guys in, I reckon, Australian motorsport. His competitors probably don't agree with him when he puts the race face on when he gets out there, and still in his mid-40s. And still as competitive as ever as he comes across and gets the checkered flag.
I think you're being very kind to say he's in his mid-40s here. Okay. One of the reasons, obviously, why Cazzo's taken it a bit easy there, he's straight back out in just a few minutes' time in the veterans class, so maybe doing a little bit of warm down. The things you can do on Postie bikes. What about that?
Well, you folks, you can probably buy one for about $800 or $1,000 from a record, but then again, with the popularity of these races, they might be becoming like HQ Holdens and getting rare as hen's teeth.
We've got Josh Webber coming in now on the 13 machine. They're not fairly spread out in this race.
Well, they've probably been fighting for traction. I remember years ago I did a Postie bike race at one of the Supercross events in Melbourne. Unfortunately, I was done up in a costume where I couldn't see much as well, and the old Fred Gassett costume, and that come back to bite me with the likes of Dermot Brereton and co. If you watch a bit of a replay of the highlights of this race, it's, look at the Pickering's bike, it's moving. I think you need a few more knobbies on that one to try and get some traction through that speedway left-hander. But they're having it just shows you how much fun they're really having out there. Trying to get down, get a bit of slipstreaming going at these things that put out roughly around 6 horsepower. Put that in perspective, a Yamaha R15 150cc machine's got 17 horsepower. So these things are very limited, but I tell you what, if you got a bike and you got a bit of dirt, doesn't matter what you're on, you can jump it. As we have a replay of him spinning it around Bond there, he just goes whoops. And don't worry about the leathers, mate. They've probably been down the road a few times because I think Jamie's crashed at every corner on every racetrack in Australia over the years, he tells me. And hopefully Jamie Stover's down here in the crowd. He's been a few engines of his from Dr. Maccabee out there racing around as the Postie Bike Challenge comes to an end. That's their track time over. And I'm sure, I wonder if we'll have... Oh, there's Kaslik there on bike number 21 at the moment waiting to get back. And he can't be trying to come out on that bike for the veterans that race at the moment, as they're all up ready to go as well.
And of course at the back of the field for the veterans we've got the women's class, and unfortunately with the slight gap between the start of the two groups, we didn't quite see the women as much involved with the vets last time, but
here we go. We've got Troy Bayliss, then Rob Jones, then Kaslik again.
Did
Crumpy get the start? He was following Kaslik's lead. Is no Jason's? I think Jason's parked it. He might have done. He's probably thought, I've had enough of this. And there's been a few corner cuts going on there as well. But out in front, it was Paul Kaslik who got a pretty good lead from Troy Bayliss there as well. Not too shabby in his start either. As they come down, this will be their, I presume it would be their last race of the day for these boys, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would be.
It's got the big wrap-up for the Oceania race to come.
Now watch this, guys and girls and boys and girls. We've got this coming up. Bayliss around the outside has a good look. He's trying to line him up for around the the right-hander. Kaslik's trying, he's going to jam it up the inside, coming off the dirt. He does, but they both start. Oh, look at the fun there, Amy. Who else is getting caught up? Rob Jones is caught up in that one as well, which is allowing bike number 11 to come back. I'm just trying to pick his number up as well.
That's Brad Trivet.
Brad Trivet.
He made a pretty good start. He's been close to them on that opening lap, and that's allowed him to close up a little bit more.
All I can say is lucky that Kaslik and Bayliss are mates after that move. That was what mates do to each other when they're in the dirt having a bit of fun. Great
Rob
start.
Jones still there in third place at the moment, chasing them down. Brad Trivet, Darren Webb, Ben Zacker, Jason Morris, Brock McAllister, the elder of the father and son combination of the Americans. He's out there as well.
Look at the Bayliss coming out of that hairpin, trying to get the Pirelli to hook up on the back of that bike. It's bucking and weaving and all over the place at the moment. Backs it into the left-hander through the chicane to come down on that another little short back straight before they back it in. And it doesn't matter how old they are, Pete, once they get that face on and once they go and there's anyone in front of them, look out. And Troy Bayliss is the epitome of determination. Like, I like the way he understates and says, I decided to have a bit of a go.
Yeah.
Bit of a go, and he's complaining about his fitness. I think you and me be lucky to last half a lap of 2 laps of this stuff. Especially the dirt. I wouldn't be too bad on the bitumen.
All right, that's the end of lap 2 for Bayliss out of the 6 laps, and he's got himself a comfortable buffer at the moment. You wouldn't think that anyone, even Paul Casley, could haul him in unless Troy Bayliss makes an unexpected mistake, although the problems Troy's had have been in close company, haven't they, at either the start of a race, but he's out in front in this one. Unless he really catches up to the tail enders, he should actually track for the rest of the 3.5 laps that he's got to go.
Well, that's a good thing about these shorter races. They're not going to be really threatening the slower riders, and the slower riders don't have to really worry about these guys coming up on them and just drilling them out of the way when they want that same bit of bitumen or dirt that the lap rider is on. And you can tell by Casso's body language that he's backed it right off as well. He's just going out there to maintain second position and hopefully stay in front of Rob Jones, who is trying to stay in front of Trivet as well. So the 4 of them pretty well, you'd think the race has been pretty settled at the moment. As they come down now, they'll have 2 laps to go of this one, I think, as they call 3 laps to go.
Yeah, Darren Webb in 5th place. Lap time suggests that he's probably going to get further behind as the race runs through its second half. The race times, quite a few that we haven't had out. We've got Megan Rutledge is the best of the she's the best of the women. So
and that's pretty good when they've come through from a 10-second deficit to for their race start. And also Stephanie James, I think she was 18th position as well. And I think that's actually Megan on screen there, isn't it? Looking at her on bike number 41, I think that might have been her. She's running a bit wide, or someone's running a bit wide there.
It's the 46 of Stephanie James.
Stephanie James, pardon me. Well, I knew it was a girl. Got the right body shape, but she's in 16th position, I think. Yep, she is. Just a couple of places behind Megan Rutledge.
Lara Cloak there as well, ahead of Keegan Pickering. So
Lara Cloak actually last year in the Pro 1, the SP1 or SP2 Victorian Championships actually finished on the podium overall. Okay. So Lara's pretty good. She comes from Terralgan out there in the Gippsland district. As on screen now, on your live streaming on Facebook, Newcastle. Oh no, who was that? I just saw the red up leathers and I thought,
Darren Webb on the 5.
Mate, there's some really big ruts starting to appear on that little, very tricky right-hander. And as we've seen with Paris and a couple of others, as we look at a replay of him coming over there, he cases out on the end of that tabletop and just goes through here. It was just obscured by the mound of dirt, but there's a big rut there that just picks him up. The front wheel picked it up, and then the rear wheel picked it up, which actually threw him onto the ground a bit more. But Bayliss now around the outside. I'll show you the way around, he says to bike number 22.
It's Keegan Pickering, so he has put a lap on one of our best young lady riders. But interesting out there at the moment, you talked about Lara Cloak. The rider in front of her is Dad.
Yeah, Ray Cloak, yeah.
So if you can pick up them around the track there, Lara Cloak on the 51 machine and Ray Cloak on the 69 machine, they're obviously battling for bragging rights at the moment out there on the track.
It doesn't matter, does it? Just because you're not up there winning, trying to win first, second or third, you're out there having a dip, and whether you're racing for first or 31st, you're still out there trying your hardest to put your best lap times in, do your PBs, and hopefully come up with a bit of a dice and then keep racing. But as we get on the last lap, here comes Troy Bayliss showing these, some of the older, some of the younger than him, just how far she can get a Supermoto machine around this magnificent Newcastle showground layout. You'd think he was chasing somebody down at the moment.
And should point out too, Eric Shear, our Singaporean rider, has got a few more laps under his wheels by contesting this veterans class. So good luck to him. We spoke to him earlier today. He's got the whole family in tow with him on holidays in Australia. As the checker flag goes again and again, it goes to Troy Bayliss.
Great to see the TB, always with a smile on his face and always willing to help a fan out with a bit of a photo. Even last night of one of the girls in reception, it was the first day working there at the hotel, and
Troy had gone off, and she was, while she was out the back, she's come and gone, oh, where is he? I want the photo with him, because his husband's in Victoria, mad Troy Bayless fan. So I rang up Troy, comes out of his room, comes down, gets a photo to make somebody else happy. That's just the type of guy he is, that he's, as he said, when people stop asking for photographs and autographs, and I've had many others in the past say that, and you would have had the same said to you, Pete, that when that happens, we'll look at some highlights from the Legends race. Is from the start, Casso. he reads the start line pretty well. But look at this determined move. It's probably one of the hardest passing moves all weekend, this one.
Yep.
Parks it in front of him. Then they come together on the way. And then Rob Jones nearly gets sent into the fence on the way out of the turn. And it was enough for Troy, the boy, to get there in front and never be headed.
And Rob Jones has done well during the latter stages of that race, because he got himself up to second ahead of Paul Casley.
And that's great highlights from these guys. And Casso, well, bit of discretion there with the slower the rider. And as we watch Webb there, as we've said, this little rut that's forming, just picked up a wheel and just tossed him into the ground. Unfortunately, him, as TB comes over to celebrate yet another victory in his illustrious career. In second position, we had Paul Casley and then Rob Jones.
No, Rob Jones got past Paul Casley.
And we go down to test now with our winner, Troy Bayless.
Troy, congratulations. What a race. I feel like you're just doing it too easy out there.
Thank you. Yeah, it's hard work, but honestly, I've got the speed, but the fitness in the arms for not riding enough, that takes its toll, so I have to ease up a little. But yeah, I'm happy with the day. I want to say thanks to Graham Boyd and everybody involved this weekend to put on such a great event. It was really nice, and look forward to the following one next year, and I'm going to train up properly for it.
Well, hey, if that's what you can do without as much training as you'd like, phenomenal. How was your start this time round?
Start wasn't too bad. It was okay, and but yeah, I was going to follow Paul around for a little while, but it didn't work out that way. I ended up by myself and put my head down for a couple of laps, then went in the cruise mode.
Nice work, well done.
Thank you.
Well, his version of cruise mode's a lot different to my version, but competitors out there and everybody else, you've got 363 days notice before we reconvene, hopefully at the 2018 Newcastle International Supermoto, either here at the showground or on the foreshores. But Troy, he's got the impression that he is very determined, and while we gather our breath and get ready for our final event, we'll go and take some more messages from our all-important sponsors here at the Newcastle International Supermoto event at the Newcastle Showground.
Bikes have always been a passion of mine, so when it comes to bike insurance, you want a company that shares your passion, and that's Shannon's. They're one of Australia's leading motorcycle insurance providers. Shannon's comprehensive bike insurance gives you the things that really count, like agreed value, choice of repairer, and pay-by-the-month premiums at no extra cost. If you're passionate about your bike, insure it with Shannon's. Call Shannon's on 13 46 46.
Don't miss a second of the action. Every corner, every shift, every heartbreak. See your motorsport as it should be, live and free. Download your Motorsport TV experience now.
My life is a constant challenge. Training hard, working hard, traveling for races, always pushing myself to the edge. So when the time comes, I have to feel the moment. Protect it from the outside. Focus on my goal, and only then I get a chance to make it possible. Kawaiti, the world-class helmet.
Bikes have always been part of my life. Riding them and racing them, it's a real passion. So when it comes to bike insurance, you want a company that shares that passion, and that's Shannon's. They're one of Australia's leading motorcycle insurance providers. Shannon's comprehensive bike insurance gives you the things that really count, like agreed value, choice of repairer, and pay-by-the-month premiums at no extra cost. Then there's cover for your riding gear and modifications, with flexible cover for bikes that are laid up while being restored or on club registration. And if you ride every day, Shannon's can look after you too. If you're passionate about your bike, whether it's an older classic or one of these current model sports bikes or both, insure it with Shannon's. Call Shannon's to speak to a bike enthusiast on 13 46 46 for a quote.
Welcome back. Now it's all down to the crunch time, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Our final event of the day, the third leg of the inaugural FIM Oceania Supermoto event here at Newcastle Showground. The premier class of this Newcastle International Supermoto for 2017. And Peter Baker, I don't know about you, but I'm just getting a little bit excited about the prospects of this final 15-lap race for this 2017 event here at Newcastle Showground.
And rightly so. I think it's all built up very nicely, hasn't it, to a climax. We've got the American rider here this weekend, Gage McCullough. He's been the standout as far as individual performance is concerned. But, of course, he had that DNF yesterday, so he's not going to, we would imagine, finish in the top three. But I reckon he's going to be pretty determined to remind everyone that what he should have achieved had he not had that fairly simple electrical problem yesterday, and which may well have got him on top. But he'll want to go out with a win. The leading Aussies there, the likes of Michael Kirkness and Andy McLeish, they're right in contention, and I think they're probably going to be the ones who might be battling it out for overall honours.
Yeah, they could well be. It's going to be a bit of a fraught one. I'm just going to call the race and let the point scores look after each other, I think.
But we'll get a bit of an idea. I'm sure the riders have checked the standings as they are at the moment, and they'll know what they can and can't do. Of course, Adam Medal. As we cross down now, we've got a chance to go down to Danny Ham.
Thanks, guys. Gage, a little bit of a tumble on the last race, but let's forget that one. We've got the last race for today on the front row. How are you feeling on this?
Feeling pretty good. You know, race is going to be long, so you got to be smart, and just looking to get out there and get things underway and see how things go.
Hottest part of the day, mate. You starting to feel it at all? I know it's a little different at home at the moment, but you feeling it? You okay?
Yeah, I feel good. Definitely the track's rough and physical, so I'm definitely feeling it from that, but ready to get out and get these 12 laps underway.
Tourist point of view, mate, have you enjoyed your time here?
Oh, most definitely. I can't wait to come back.
Awesome, mate. Good luck. We'll see you out there.
Great stuff. That you've seen that they're coming out again. And McAllister, well, I suppose it's only one visit to Oz, and you want to keep coming back again and again. And as we've seen, Boris Chambon came back again. Chris Hodson was out here for a few years. Unfortunately, he wasn't out here this year, but we've seen a few regular competitors come out and take part in this marvellous event, the Newcastle International Supermoto, whether it be here at the showground or on the foreshores of that magnificent harbour just down the road, a couple of k's away from where we are right this minute. On a day that's got no clouds in the sky. It's a perfect Father's Day. It's a perfect spring day. And you couldn't get much better for racing anywhere in the world than we've got right here now.
And right next to McAllister there, we've got the Victorian. We've got Adam Miller from the Hartwell Club. Maybe unheralded before the start of the weekend, but he has got the chance to score arguably the biggest win of his racing career.
Sure will be. And as I've said a couple of times, he said that I didn't come here to make up the numbers. I've come here to win.
And I might have looked at him with a bit of an amused look on my face to think, well, he's got all these guys there, but I've certainly got egg on face thinking he couldn't do it. I knew he's got the talent to do it, but to be as dominant as he has been in the races that he's actually finished without too many whoopsies, but that's a great angle too of the start line there. Live streaming here from the Newcastle International Supermoto event. Great initiative. So I've been getting messages from all around the world that people have been watching this. So it's good to see that the hard work by Graham Boyd and the Watson brothers and everybody else that's had a part in this, and I've got to say that about Lyndall Butler too, because she puts in an untold amount of work behind the scenes, and Fiona Collins is another one. Just a little one, and all their helpers. As we get in the starters' hands, we'll get the warm-up lap underway, and then havoc will be created for the next 15 laps. And I'll have to say I'll put my money on McAllister, but I'll tell you what, the dark horse this weekend, Miller. But then, as you just said rightly before they come out here, we've got the likes of Luke Richards, if his fitness can hold the distance. But we've got the rubber man, Michael Kirkness, and Andy McLeish, our current defending Australian Supermoto champion, that was decided in, I think it was about September last year, up in Mareeba, up there in the Atherton Tablelands in far north Queensland. Another beautiful spot of this fine country that we live in. But the boys are out there on their warm-up lap. No thoughts of fine days or surf down the road or whatever. This is it. All eyes focused. The whole 24 pairs of eyes at the moment as they'll be focused on this track for the next 15 laps.
12 laps actually, so yeah, we've gone back to 12 laps
I think
today.
That might have been a call from the guys, because the program was saying 15 and they're probably looking and going, come on, make it 12, make it 12, please. Wonder if Luke Richards was the one with his name up the top of the top of the petition.
No, he wanted 4 lap races, I think. And yeah, of course, 4 lap races or thereabouts in dirt track are the norm. They do have quite a few one-off events where they have 8 or 10 lap finals sort of thing, which are really good to see, and for variety. But we will see 12 laps. So we're looking at about 14 minutes of racing, aren't we, for that particular race distance, and it's a long time to be in the leathers, helmet on, goggles on, having dust and dirt thrown at you, and concentrating so intently.
Yeah, very much so. And just repeating, Coach McAllister won the last league from Kirkness, McLeish and Miller. That was the top 4. Luke Richards in 5th. We had 12 starters, 12 finishes from 16 starters, and I reckon we've got about the same now as we line up for the premier race of the weekend, the final leg of the inaugural round of the FIM Oceania Supermoto Championship here at a pristine-looking Newcastle showground, right in the heart of one of the best regional centres in all of Australia. Off and racing they go.
Wow.
So look at
46 of Adam Miller, who's got the best in our start.
Oh, there was a clash of 3 of them there, and who got squeezed out? Luke Richards.
I think it was Luke Richards, yeah. He got squeezed, and that's enabled Miller to get a bit of a gap on the field already, but very early stages.
Yeah, but he's just let his intention be known from the very start. Catch me if you can. I think he's been listening to the Dave Park 5 in the off-break, but that old song from the 60s. But in second position, we've got Jared Brook from Ben Adar, Kirkness, then it's Luke Richards with our visiting Gage McAllister there back in 6th position. Hasn't he got some work to do at the moment?
Certainly has. Not the best of starts for him this time around, but again, we see the likes of Jared Brook stepping up, improving as the weekend wears on.
I went because McAllister put on a big move there to move up again. So he's now up to 4th position, right behind
Michael
Kirkness at the moment. Mick's going to be attacked at the moment. A bit of street fighting going on there. Jared Brook, his best ride so far of the weekend after taking out a couple of dirt track championships a few weeks ago in Mildura. He's got the hang of this one again. Ben Adard, who won one of the races yesterday with a great race with Troy Bayliss up there in 3rd position. As he said, he's not used to these long races after the pies and the beer the good life have got to him. But
in the off-season.
Yeah, in the off-season. I wonder if he's going to another one that'll come back in 364 days' time for another tip. But I'll tell you what, our leader out the front at the moment has got about a 6-bike length lead over Jared Brook in 7th, Ben Attard in 3rd.
They're holding on to that advantage they've got over the rest of the field. Headed at the moment, Michael Kirkness in 4th, then McAllister, then Richards, then McLeish.
Up the inside goes Attard up the inside of Jared Brook. Doesn't make it stick, run it wide, but here comes McAllister up the inside of Kirkness. He's got the inside line going through the left-hander. Throws it on the right. He doesn't get caught out by that rut that's caught so many out this afternoon. So he's got clear track. And McLeish had a bit of a whoopsie coming out of the final turn. Sorry, Attard out of the final turn. Now McLeish, he's got them in his sights. He's on the charge. But Miller's already into the distance. He's gone. So it's between what McAllister can do with Attard and Jared Brook in front of him. There's Miller going through the hairpin for the 3rd time of this 12-lap journey. And we'll just see if they can drag themselves along to close it down, because we've got Jared Brook and McLean, and look right behind, there's McAllister. He's going to start pushing these guys. They either respond to the pressure or they fall to the wayside. What is it going to be?
Overall, honest is that we'll leave that for all the scorers to compile it all at the end, but it's going to mean for a very interesting race, as we see Attard very aggressive there as they come onto the dirt section. Can't quite get on terms with Jared Brook, but McAllister now, he's about to serve it up to Ben Attard as Kirkness gets forced wide. McAllister, where's he gone? Right out, very, very wide on the track. Don't think it paid off for him, though, this time.
He's been doing that berm shot a bit, because when he was battling with Miller before, Miller was taking the short line. McAllister using that to bounce off the berm and get the power down there, CRF 450, and try and get that little bit of a nudge. But while we're looking at 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th, our man of the moment, Adam Miller from Victoria, is way out into the distance, and these three are starting to bash each other up, so it'll be slowing their lap times down a bit. A 108, that's down the field a bit. We'll wait for our leaderboard to scroll through. But Jared Brook, the dirt tracker, he's coming of age now on those Supermoto, and after yesterday he wasn't struggling. Up the inside comes McAllister. He's going to take he's trying to at once. Attard does succumb to the pressure. So now it is McAllister up to 3rd position on the charge. Way up ahead is Adam Miller on bike 46. What can Jared Brook do? He's a dirt tracker. He can make that bike about 54 foot wide.
And certainly McAllister telling us before he likes the asphalt more.
It worked for him that time, Pete.
He's pulled off a big move there around the outside of Brook, and this is where Brook has been quick and looked really quick and very wide, as you said, on that part of the speedway track. But McAllister, he's got one rider in front of him now, and that is Adam Miller. Now it will matter to Miller, because obviously he doesn't get as many points if he finishes 2nd in the race compared to winning the race. But
5.1 seconds at the moment, Pete.
All right, so we've got 5.1 seconds. We've got 8 laps to go, so till 2/3 of the race to run. But Miller will know. Obviously he wants as many points as he can. But you've got a very determined American behind him who will want to put the icing on the weekend by winning this 2nd round, and I guess reminding people what it should have been. 0.2
of a second difference in the lap times that time, Pete. It's not going to make much difference to Miller's lead. Miller's basically got to make a mistake for the fact that to get McAllister to close the jump, because as you saw that Miller was disappearing through that speedway corner, and McAllister hadn't even made the last triple there on that tabletop jump.
And Attard up to 3rd again now, ahead of Jared Brook, and we're the 3 dirt track regulars in Brook and Kirkness and Richards running 4th, 5th and 6th at the moment. So trying to pick up the Queenslander, Andy McLeish. He's back in 7th place.
Yeah, I think the flu's really got to him. He said it earlier yesterday that he was, we failed to mention it today, that he had a bit of an illness with the flu, but I think that might have really started you can only get to so much before your body starts to go, hang on, what are you doing to me?
And here's Australia's two. Luke Richards has thrown it down the road. Just as I was about to say, we've got our 2 gun dirt trackers from the last probably 5 years having a ding-dong battle, and Luke lost it.
I think Troy Bayliss would have given a bit of an alluding to that after the race when he said the arms just can't handle it. Luke was saying when he won it only 4 lap races, I think his arms might be holding it out as we see a replay of it. Comes in under brakes, grabs a big handful. Oh, I reckon he grabs an extra bit of a handful so he doesn't tag the back of that motorcycle in front of him.
So that's dropped Luke Richards down a few places down the pecking order.
But our leader now on bike number 46, Adam Miller, the Victorian, in the lead. Now Andy McLeish is coming back on Luke Richards at the moment. That was back there in 7th, that was 6th and 7th position, I do believe.
So Richards dropped a couple of spots there in that battle. He was passed by, would have been Michael Kirkness and McLeish getting right up on his hammer. So Miller, McAllister and Attard, and then the dirt track brigade, if you like, in Brook and Kirkness and Richards and McLeish, who is now taking closer order. So maybe he feels he's got something left to try and haul in one of the top dirt trackers.
It's just over half race distance, and McAllister's the fastest man on track at 63.9. That previous lap, that's the fastest lap of the race, and so now the gap is under 4 seconds at the moment. The gap between our leader, Adam Miller from Victoria, and our visiting American from California, Gage McAllister, the current AMA dirt track champion. And now what is it down to now? 3 seconds. So getting closer and closer at the moment. So Adam Miller, you can see that visibly that the gap is closing down. It might be 100 metres, but look at the smoothness of McAllister on the bitumen. Backing it into turn number 11.
Just about to head back onto the main arena here at the Newcastle Showground. We follow the American in there. He will have the race leader, Miller, well and truly in his sights. Some parts of the track he can get really up close as the battle between Jared Brook and Michael Kirkner still rages. We're down to 4 laps to go. The gap between there's that Jared Brook, I think, down this time. So Jared not the tallest of the riders too, so he got that up pretty well and resumed and probably only dropped that one placing there. But Miller, McAllister, Attard, then Kirkness has just minded his own business. A few have fallen by the wayside as we see the replay here of Jared Brook going down.
But it's that corner again, that rutted out left right-hander that's caught them out again. Another rider, he's just got to be a couple of centimetres offline, which he has, and bang, he hits that rut again and down he goes. And luckily for Kirkness, he managed to be able to see it happening before he actually come up against him. But with Albert Miller, we've got, we'll have 3 laps to go at the end of this circuit of this 12-lap event for the final race in the first ever championship for the FIM Oceania season here in Newcastle. And McAllister now another fastest lap, but we'll just have to see. It's
2.2 seconds I think the gap was, so 3 laps to go and just over 2 seconds the gap between the two, the Victorian and the Californian.
I reckon we're in for one monumental last lap at the moment. McAllister on screen at the moment goes up through the hairpin, through the bitumen section proper for the third last time.
We'll get an idea along the back here, and the gap has certainly been diminished, but not down to, at this stage, worry.
2.2 seconds now.
Yep, 2.2 at the end of that previous lap, so Miller will want to be very good around the dirt section, because the strength of the American still appears to be the asphalt, but he's made a couple of good moves on the dirt, and as he goes through there, he's obviously missed the spot that's caused some problems for others as we pick up our Jared Brook and Andy McLeish.
So he didn't do too bad, Brook, to be able to have a little whoopsie like that and pick it up and not lose too much. But it's Luke Richards up in front. So we've got McAllister from Attard, then Kirkness. That's the top 3. This is the battle for 5th between Luke Richards, Jared Brook and Andy McLeish. We've got 2 laps to go of this final leg, the final race of the 2017 Newcastle International Supermoto, which is the final leg of the FIM Oceania Championship. Who's it going to be? Kirkness has been the most consistent, but I reckon Adam Miller has got a good chance at 1:04 2:36 for fastest lap for Miller, but not quite up there with McAllister.
But still that gap around the 2.2 seconds, so no gain there for the American on the third last lap.
And I reckon now with 2 wins and a third position for Miller. You'd think that this man on screen at the moment, bike number 46, Adam Miller from the Gippsland in Victoria, is now, the last lap board's been shown to him. He can taste it. He's got one hand on the silverware, but he's got McAllister. Oh, well, McAllister's picked up a bit of the Shannon sponsorship signings. He's been trying to find that short way around. He's found a bit of the short way, but what can McAllister do? It's lucky it's not on the other side of the bike to get caught up in the chain. And that would have brought his charge right to an end. But I tell you what, can he do anything? Look at the charge. He's got about 600 metres left. And he's down now. It's under a second. We don't need to stop much. We can find this out as we come down to complete this race. This FIM Oceania, the inaugural round, the inaugural race ever of this one. Who's in the history books? It looks like McAllister's just left it a little. Oh, I wouldn't say that too much. They come onto the dirt section proper for the final time. Miller has a quick look behind him to see where the opposition was. Gets through that rut. Has another look. He's there. He knows it. He can taste the victory as he comes through the rut. McAllister tries a big one, but it's the Aussie. Adam Miller takes the win from Cage McAllister, the visiting California, who gave it his all. In third position, Ben Adard out of retirement yet again, with Michael Kirkness fourth. Luke Richards fifth, Andy McLeish in sixth position. Wow, what a race. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are around this Newcastle showground or sitting in front of your computer somewhere around the world. What a race, what a finale to finish the inaugural FIM Oceania Supermoto race here at the Newcastle showground. A man that not many had heard of before, Pete.
I'm sure they won't forget him after today. Great effort, and you said it was going to be a great finish.
And the highlights of this, very monumental race. And it was Miller that got into the lead from the very start. And that's basically the closest they got to him, Pete.
And interestingly, McAllister there back in about 6th or 7th place around those first couple of corners. So
Daniel King doing a bit of motocrossing over the Humpy Vales as well.
Well, he should be used to that, yeah. But here we see the American on that opening lap. Obviously not the best of starts when the lights change.
Yeah, the pole position, he's really dogged it then, and I suppose he'll be the one kicking himself because he's had that chance to do it. Oh, and there was some big moves there. Eddard just trying a bit too hard, but McAllister got through Jared Brook there, and you thought then that he might have had a half-decent chance of tracking it down, but then as they got closer, Miller started to open up the taps again to get those lap times again as Jared Brook went down just...
No, that one was Luke Richards. I think we're about to see Jared Brook's one. That was
he looked like he tagged the back of McAllister's bike or grabbed an extra bit of a handful of brakes so he didn't take him out with him and ruin his championships of championship glory. But what a race as we see now. This is the bit of
this will be the one where Jared Brook goes down and both two of Australia's best dirt trackers there just having a simple little tumble.
Great reaction from Kirkness, isn't it? He had that nanosecond to react to it and just managed to push it aside. But great racing all round, and out the front we had Miller leading the way, but it was a good battle for third, fourth, fifth and sixth as Miller takes the win just in front of Cage McAllister. Great roar from the crowd here at Newcastle Showground as the winners first, second and third make their way back to Park Ferme with Danny down there as well, ready to talk to them, and McAllister talking with his a few of the crew down there. Just a bit of a post-mortem about how the race went and woulda, coulda and shoulda. The three biggest words in, if is the biggest word in the motorcycle dictionary, but woulda, coulda and shoulda isn't too far behind it either. And thanks again to all concerned with especially Biogenetics, brand new sponsor for the Newcastle International Supermoto for 2017. And I think it's about time that we go downstairs and catch up with the words of wisdom from our three place getters. Bring it in.
Well, what a weekend. Benny Adard, mate, third place. What a great way to finish.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we were able to do some fast laps, but just struggled with starts for the last 2 days. So it was good to finally get one. And, fitness is not there. But, it was good. We got some speed and hopefully come back here next year a bit stronger.
That was my next question. Back again. I know that you haven't done a lot of this, but enjoyed it enough. We'll be back.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's a good release from work, and yeah, like I love riding. I thought that bug was gone 5 years ago, but it's fired up this year, and here we are.
It always comes back, mate. Congratulations on the third in that race. We're going to move across to second in that race, and wow, what a performance. You really put in a big charge there at the end, but not quite enough laps, mate.
Yeah, that was a tough start for me. I think I ended up like 5th or 6th off the start and made myself work for it. Had to make a couple passes. But yeah, we moved through the pack relatively quickly, but just enough time to let him slip away a little bit. So we charged as hard as we could that whole time, and wasn't quite enough. Maybe a couple more laps and we could have gave the show a little bit better, but it was a good race. I'm tired.
Yeah, man, there was the very start of that race. You kind of got held up just a little bit behind. I think it might have been Jared. There was a big freight train of you guys. Had you got around a bit earlier, maybe the things might have been different, but I tell you, there was a big charge in the end. Congratulations, second in that one. Have you enjoyed your time again?
Oh, most definitely. This race is super awesome. Super stoked to be a part of it, and I hope it continues and hope to be back.
Congratulations, mate. Well done in second place. And, of course, our winner for the weekend. And I think he made one mistake this weekend. Adam Miller, first place. Congratulations, mate. A big effort, especially for the fact you're only here, you know, a week ago you got back from your FIFO working and you haven't done a lot of this racing. To come out and do this, I know a lot of people have said, who is Adam Miller? And pretty much none of us really knew. We know he had a motocross background, but this is all pretty new to you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good to get the win. It was a tough weekend. Like I said earlier, we started off strong, and yesterday we had some really bad luck, and I was really hurting. So, but no, my pit crew, they inspired me, gave me the energy to get through it, and my family and friends back home, hello. Those people are the ones who get you through it. So it doesn't matter how long you spend on your bike. It's when that gate drops, when that light goes off, that's when it begins.
Well done, mate. That was a great ride. And as I said, you dominated for the weekend. Do you think we'll see you again next year?
Oh, for sure. The only reason I didn't ride the last two is I've been away at work and it's been killing me. But don't worry, I've been studying and watching all these guys. So I know them all. But thank you very much to the likes of Gabe for coming over. We want to encourage more international riders and make it a big thing.
Well, there you go. 1, 2, 3 from the final race of the day. And what a day it's been.
Yeah, thanks, Danny, for those words of wisdom from our top three. In third position, Ben Allard. Second from the US of A, Cage McAllister. And taking out the win in the race and the win in the overall, our great mate from Victoria, Dean Miller. And we'll be back, Adam Miller, and we'll be back with more action as we wrap up with a presentation here at the 2017 Newcastle International Supermoto.
Bikes have always been a passion of mine. So when it comes to bike insurance, you want a company that shares your passion. And that's Shannon's. They're one of Australia's leading motorcycle insurance providers. Shannon's comprehensive bike insurance gives you the things that really count, like agreed value, choice of repairer, and pay-by-the-month premiums at no extra cost. If you're passionate about your bike, insure it with Shannon's. Call Shannon's on 13 46 46.
Don't miss a second of the action. Every corner, every shift, every heartbreak. See your motorsport as it should be, live and free. Download your Motorsport TV experience now.
Life is a constant challenge. Training hard, working hard, traveling for races, always pushing myself to the edge. So when the time comes, I have to fit the moment. Protect it from the outside. Focus on my goal, and only then I get a chance to make it possible. Kawaiti, the world-class helmet.
Bikes have always been part of my life. Riding them and racing them, it's a real passion. So when it comes to bike insurance, you want a company that shares that passion, and that's Shannon's. They're one of Australia's leading motorcycle insurance providers. Shannon's comprehensive bike insurance gives you the things that really count, like agreed value, choice of repairer, and pay-by-the-month premiums at no extra cost. Then there's cover for your riding gear and modifications, with flexible cover for bikes that are laid up while being restored or on club registration. And if you ride every day, Shannon's can look after you too. If you're passionate about your bike, whether it's an older classic or one of these current model sports bikes or both, insure it with Shannon's. Call Shannon's to speak to a bike enthusiast on 13 46 46 for a quote.
Well, what a fantastic day it's been at the Newcastle International Supermoto. Danny, we saw some of the greats bringing the goods today, as well as some newcomers.
We did, didn't we? We saw Troy Bayliss. He was out there riding so well, especially on the tar, comes away with a win in the vets class. And then we also see Adam Miller, the guy that we've mentioned all day, you know, where did he come from? No one expected him to do what he did, and it was just blowing everyone away. I was loving seeing his riding ability out there today.
It was amazing. And we also saw quite a few tumbles and crashes. Demanding track made for very exciting viewing.
It did, didn't it? And, you know, this is the type of thing where if you're not on your A game, you can end up on the ground, and we saw that today. Even the smaller mistakes by some of the top guys as well, you know. If you don't have your head switched on, and at the end of a race, it becomes very hard. You get fatigued. If you're not straight on it, then you can end up on the ground. And we saw that today. But everyone's walked away. It's a good thing.
That is definitely a good thing. Danny, thank you so much for joining us. It has just been amazing. A big thank you, of course, to Destination New South Wales, promoter Graham Boyd and the production team for bringing it to you. We've had the greatest time, guys. That does bring us to the end of the Newcastle International Supermoto. Have a great day, and we will see you next time.